Welcome back. So in this lecture, let's see how to handle radio buttons and drop downs with Playwright. Okay. So I will go back to this ProtoCommerce app. So here we have the radio buttons and we also have the drop downs here. So first, let's start with the drop down. Now there are two kind of drop downs. One is a static drop down where options will already be there. So such drop downs are called select drop downs. Now when you inspect, you will see the tag name for the drop downs as a select. Okay. So there is one good way of handling select, which is nothing but static drop downs. So now, for example, let's say you want to select consultant. How do you do that? It's very simple that you first need to see. If you expand this select option, you will see all these three options here, right? So value equals to consult. So you have to pass this value. Let me show you. So for that, let's do one thing. All these UI controls, we will do another test. Let's call us UI controls. Okay. I'll remove all this. So here also first we have to go to this login page, practice web page. Next, we will try to give a username and password again. So let's take all these details, what we have here, username and sign in. Right. So for this select drop down, first you need to operate on this, right? So go and get the selector for that. So this is the selector. Now, can you write CSS for this? Let's do that. So we have a class name. So I will do dot class name form hyphen control. Three elements are matching. So that means that is not unique. So Playwright will complain with an error saying there is a strict mechanism that you should use only one. So in that case, what if you use this tag name? So if you see the syntax is actually tag name dot class name, or you can give simply dot class. But if you simply give dot class, there are three elements are returning. So if you put tag name, maybe it will be unique. Here you go. See, only one element matching. I hope now you understood when to use this and when to use with tag name. If you think this is not unique, then concatenate with tag name and see if you get a unique selector. So once you have this, now come back again. First, let's store that into one variable, drop down page dot locator, and this is our drop down. Okay. Now, if you want to select any option from the drop down, so simply call this variable which have that locator dot select option. You see, this is the method. So in this method, you need to send a value of that option. So you will have definitely value attribute if you are dealing with the select tag. So let's say if you want to select this consultant from here, then simply pass this value attribute, what you see here, consult. If you place it here, that's it. So this will select consult drop down option. So make sure you put await before that so that it will handle asynchronous. So now this code will simply handle and select consultation option inside that radio button. Okay. So that's how you handle static drop down. Let me show it very quickly. Test dot only, right? If you give this only, this will run, but execution will be very faster that you could not even see the result. So what you can do is you can have one method here, page dot pause. Okay. So what happens is your execution will pause before closing your test. So that way you can see the result. So this opens one new inspector called Playwright inspector. Let me show you. If I run this, you will understand. Okay, you can see that consultant is perfectly selected. Okay, so earlier it was I think student, right? But we explicitly asked to choose consultant. So that's how the drop down is selected. And again, now you can observe that something got opened here. This is called as a Playwright inspector. Let me maximize it. So basically every step we can debug step by step and see how the results are going on. So we will actually do multiple examples here on how to inspect and how to debug and see things are working. Okay, at this point it's not much use, but later I will show you. So as of now, I have shown this just to make sure that it got selected, because the browser will be very quick and you will not see if it is selected. But if you put pause and then resume your execution, then it will be done. Okay, looks interesting, right? So we'll talk more about this later when there is detailed section on the how to debug using inspector tool and everything, right? So we selected our drop down option, and now let's say you want to select a radio buttons. So selecting radio buttons is straightforward. Okay, you just need to click on them. So right now admin is selected. Now if you want to select a user, then just choose the user, and here see what locators you have. This is interesting here. So we don't have unique. We have a class called checkmark, but I think that's not unique. Let's see, dot checkmark. See, 2 elements are matching. So that means 2 radio buttons are selected. I preferably want to select only user. Okay, so here we have user where we can select. So let's try to get this class name and see if it works. So dot radio text sty. So this is also having 2 elements. One is admin and one is user. So the only thing what we can do is here give dot nth of 1, so that second element will be selected. Okay, so let's go back to our Visual Studio. Await page dot locator. So here we have written CSS. So we know that it's returning 2 elements. If you say dot first, then what it will select? It will select this admin one, right? So it's highlighting that. So if you want to select the last one, there is a method called last also. If you select last, then it will figure out what is the last element. But if there are more than 2, let's say 5, and if you want second one, then you have to do nth of 1, which we have already seen in the previous lectures, right? So now let me show you this one, last. So this should click on that user dot click. Okay, so what happens after you click on this radio button? This will open one pop-up, and here you have to accept this pop-up, right? So to accept this pop-up, you have ID here, so that should be straightforward. So basically when you are shifting from admin to user, you will get one pop-up asking that you will be limited to a few functionalities, and you should accept that. So this is just a web-based pop-up, not a Java-based pop-up. Okay, for Java pop-ups, there is another way of handling, which we will see in the future lectures. This is just a web-based where you have a locators available. So you can just directly handle them with the locators. And you know what? This will take some time to open up, but just because we are using click method. So what does click do? Click will wait. If it is not displayed, it will wait until it's shown up to 30 seconds. If it's shown up anywhere in the middle, it will go and select it. Okay, so that way this pop-up got selected. Great. So now you have to verify if this radio button is successfully checked or not. Okay, from here we are moving it to here, right? So you did this through script, but ultimately you should have an assertion to make sure that after you select this pop-up, the user button is accepted and that is selected. Okay, for that we will put one assertion. So this we will see in the next lecture, but before that we will just make sure that our script is actually doing what we are expecting. I'll still put pause so that you can visually see that execution is happening. Once you have assertions in place, you really need not have this pause, because if there is something wrong, assertion will fail your test. So this should actually select radio button. You see pop-up also opened. I hope you clearly saw that, and it selected user. Okay, this is white now because user got selected. Great. So we have successfully selected a drop down as well as radio buttons. And the next lecture, let's see how can we put assertions around it. Thank you.